Welcome to the Young Leaders Club podcast, where we nurture the next generation of leaders within the vibrant community of Birmingham. I'm your host, Lauren, and in today's episode, Leading Through Adversity, we delve into the inspiring journey of resilience and growth as a young project manager with our special guest, Khumehra Mohammad. Take it right back to the beginning for you. So what did your education look like and what did you aspire to be when you were younger?
So I went to a normal secondary school, comprehensive state school, and I knew I wanted to be a barrister. I was set on it. I was like, law is the way to go. I'm going to wear a wig. And essentially, I worked really hard. I got, good GCSEs, my A stars and A's and A levels to get to University of Birmingham. And yeah, that's what I aspired to be. Didn't know anything about what I am actually today. And that was my path, and I was set on it, and I did everything in my power to make it happen. And then life changed and new opportunities presented themselves.
So before you went into project managing, was there ever a moment where you felt uncertain about your career path?
Yeah, so essentially, as I said, I was set on law and I ended up becoming a project manager. So for me, I was really fortunate to be able to be Birmingham Future Graduate Apprentice.
Okay.
And as a result of that, I managed to be selected to do 3 different rotational placements for a year. So I worked in insurance, recruitment, and for project management in construction. So, and that was the really key eye-opener for me, that, wow, this profession actually exists, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And after that, I actually had 7 job offers, and I was like, oh, wow, what do I do? And so that was a really fortunate position to be in. I know not everyone gets that opportunity to do something like that, but I was like, right, can I do this?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I've worked hard. I think I can. If I put my mind to it, I think I can. And I had some good mentors around me as well who really supported my development.
Yeah. So there might be a lot of people listening to this podcast. It's a Young Leaders podcast. It's diving into lots of different career areas who don't know what a project manager is. Did you know what a project manager was before you actually went into that type of field?
No. So I actually Googled the definition of a project manager today.
Right, okay.
And so a project manager just runs the day-to-day of a project. And I was like, well, that's pretty simple.
Pretty much what it is, yeah.
So it is what it is, basically. So in relation to being a project manager, though, what you need to do is you need to identify what your client's scope and brief is.
Okay.
And you need to understand what they want to achieve at the end of their construction project. And then you're going to look at the timeframes and the costs, so what their budget constraints are, and any risk around the project, and then you essentially ensure that you get a team together to deliver the project to the required budget, time, so programme and quality. And so that's just really making sure that that's essentially what our end goal is. So we try and understand what the client's aspirations are and how we can make that achievable. And so as we go along through project management, there's different things that I do. And that is, so at the start, I'll look at the strategy, so how we're going to get from our client's initial brief, so I'm going to build 300 homes, to getting those homes built on site. So it's what the strategy is, how we're going to procure it, so that's how we're going to get a contractor on board, and then how we're going to deliver the scheme at the end.
So really, it sounds like quite a bit of a people job. You've got to have a lot of good communication skills, knowing the right type of people to reach out to. Is it just based on construction that you deal with, or other areas as well that you've specialised in?
So for project management, it's really wide. So the core skills that you learn can be applied to different streams of project management. Now, my expertise is in construction project management, and I definitely think that is where I'll remain. And that's because I really know the processes and the procedures, I know the planning system quite well, and so on. And so I understand what the nuances are for construction.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely can be applied to other avenues as well.
Did you predominantly start off in construction, or was there other areas where you dabbled in first before you went down that route?
So my background is law, and I think the reason I went down the construction project management route was because there's contracts involved and understanding how the contractors are applied and what the issues are when we go on site and so on, and just trying to understand how everything interrelates kind of just clicked for me because I had the background in law.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't dabble in other areas, but I am aware of the other areas that there are.
So, being a young project manager, what initial challenges did you face in making connections within the industry, and how did you overcome them?
So I think when I first started out, and I think this is for any graduate or anyone who's new in the industry, it's just understanding what people's roles and responsibilities are and how the team all works together.
Yeah.
And I think that is quite difficult because you don't know where you're overstepping or where you're not doing enough, and trying to understand what your actual role is where the greater benefit is, because once you know exactly what your roles and responsibilities are and others, then you understand how you all work together as a team.
Yeah.
And so that was initially what my issue was. So I was like, okay, what exactly is it that I need to do? So I started off as an assistant, and as an assistant I worked with various different members of the team, and understood how they approach things differently, how they work in different things. But the way I did that was by saying, look, I've got capacity, I can help you. And a lot of the time what you find with people that are more senior in position is they don't have enough time to just stop, take a step back and be like, oh, this person can help me with that. So try to make myself helpful. And then that allowed me to break down barriers within the business, and actually start to work out, right, I can work with this person, I can learn from them, I can shadow them and understand how the processes work together. And I also worked on projects at different stages. So I worked with some stuff that's on site, some stuff that was pre-planning, some stuff that was being procured, and I got to see, even though it wasn't linear, but I got to see different parts of the projects play out. And then eventually when it came for me to run my own project, I knew how to do every single thing.
Yeah, because you'd already done every other role.
But it's just doing it in a time sequence manner. So
obviously you don't go straight into project managing, you start off as an assistant. Obviously this is me talking as someone who doesn't know anything about that type of area. So if I was a young leader, for example, wanted to get into project managing, maybe I was at university, wanted to get some work experience, what is the type of work you'd be looking at doing if you went in as like a work experience placement and you were shadowing? Where would you kind of be putting yourself? What type of opportunities would you be on the lookout for? So
there's a few different opportunities. So I know places sometimes do like summer internships. So you can start by basically shortlisting all the project management firms that you can find, and that's really, it's just a simple Google search really, career paths in project management and so on. Or you can use the Association for Project Managers, and they might advertise some opportunities. So firstly I'd find out what kind of firms. Attend careers fairs, ask them, do you have any work experience opportunities? So that's the next thing that you'll do. And then if you can't still get a work experience opportunity, for example, summer internship, perhaps a sandwich year. So you take a year out and go and work in the industry. That's a really good way of gaining those skills and experiences. And if all else fails, then there are other things that you can do in terms of project management that works on your people skills. So those are things like, I mean, even if you worked in McDonald's, for example, or you're a student ambassador, you're working with people, you're understanding what we're trying to do, so you're trying to deliver a end result. So you're probably trying to, you know, work as a team, so you're working on those team building skills. You've got set targets, so showing how you're reaching the targets, how you're reaching the milestones. And then just by applying those kind of interpersonal skills, that's how you can actually then like progress and get further basically within the business. A big congratulations on winning Project Manager of the Year last year at the Building the Future Awards.
Thank you. As the winner of that category, what are some key skills or qualities that differentiate successful young leaders in today's competitive landscape?
So I think the key skills is I think the important thing for one to remember is that you've got to have the knowledge. and you've got to be able to apply yourself.
Yeah.
So before anything else, you need to develop the knowledge on how to successfully implement a project, and then you've got to actually do it.
Yeah.
So you've got to do what you say you can do using your knowledge and skills. And then once you've got those in the bag, then you start networking, you start seeing how you can better deliver those results. And that willingness and can-do attitude really takes you a long way. I'm always willing to say yes to new challenges, because I think there's no point in me not trying to get outside my comfort zone, because I never know what I can achieve until I'm outside it. And if it doesn't work, that's fine, because it's a lesson still learned.
Yeah, you learn from massive mistakes, don't you, going forward. And I think that is probably a key skill in so many other jobs as well. Just putting yourself out there and out your comfort zone. You don't know what you're capable of achieving.
No, exactly. So, so you have positive attitude. And then I'd say networking and meeting with people, and then giving back as well. So I think part of the reason why I won the awards was because of what I do outside of work. So that is, I'm an Aspire ambassador, so I go into schools and I talk to students about careers in surveying, particularly, not just construction, but surveying. What is the role of a surveyor? And a surveyor works in land, residential, and the built environment. So, you know, as a surveyor for the RICS, you'd work in so many different places. So, and just trying to make that awareness, because a lot of our surveyors are actually over 60. And
so there's not many young people
in it. There's not many young people in it, no, because not many young people know about it.
Well, I don't know anything about it. I've got a couple of friends who are surveyors, but they say, "Oh, I'm a surveyor. I'm a quantity surveyor," and I'm like, "Well, what's that? I don't know what that is."
I'm chartered for the MRICS, so I'm still a chartered surveyor, and that is the accreditation you get when you're in construction. But I definitely think that it's really important for you to give back to communities and give them the opportunities to actually find a career that they might not have necessarily considered. And so whether they decide to become a residential surveyor and like value how much a house is worth, or whether they decide to go and work in the offshore sea rigs or whatever it is. You know, there is a surveying role there. There is a surveyor's role in the Arctic, for example, and it's like stuff like that I'm still even learning today. So that's one thing I definitely recommend. And then I also was involved as a STEM ambassador as well, so, you know, science, technology, engineering. And then it's just knowing about all the extra networking and meeting connections within the wider business. But also, as I said, just that can-do positive attitude to actually take on new projects and actually put myself out there, because it is hard. But
I think we're big on networking, especially in the Young Leaders Club, and being aware of the different opportunities that can come to you through networking. Has there been any of the standout events that you've been to, networking events, that have been like pivotal in your career? Have you met people through that have given you different opportunities?
Well, to be honest, yes, because some of the people that I meet, they may be potential clients, or I've made connections over the years with people who have become helpful. And that's like, for example, we might be faced with a challenge on site, and I can go and ask someone a question, like through my informal network, and just be like, well, how would you approach this? And those extra insights then make your experience greater, because you're able to say, well, there might be this issue, but I've spoken to this person, and this is a different view that they've got to the consultant that might be appointed for that team. Have you considered this? And we can work through solutions to problems as a team then. And we can all kind of lean on each other to make basically the construction industry, or whatever industry it is, really better. Or I think also with networking as well, you know, with one business, I think people really try to see the value in winning business by actually meeting people, rather than just providing fees for services, but they don't actually know the individuals they're going to be working with.
And
I think developing those client relationships, or even those cross-selling relationships, because as a project manager, I work with all different types of consultants. So me knowing, oh, there's that transport consultant or someone else out there that I can approach, that's really good. That's really positive, because that means I've got other people who are going to grow with me as I get older, they'll also be around, and we'll also become friends, and we can always learn from other people as well.
Yeah, we were talking about this in the last episode, the power of networking, and how different opportunities can come to you through networking. And I think one of the main things to grasp onto as a young person who might be new to networking is that you never know who you're going to actually come across. And you might meet somebody and at the time think, oh, that's cool, but actually I don't, that's not to do with me. That's not really my field. And as you go further on into different jobs and into different roles, you realise that it all kind of intercepts anyway. So as it being a young project manager, when was like the first time you started to go out and make those connections? Because I think it's quite a daunting experience to think of, going into, you know, the world of careers and work, to start networking with people who you don't know, going outside of your comfort zone. When was the first time that you started to do it and build those connections?
So surprisingly, when I was at uni.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when you study law, you have to attend these events and these drinks receptions at, you know, different chambers or solicitors' firms. You have to attend these events because you need to be able to understand who are the people that you're going to be working with, network with them, what opportunities are out there. So I actually started when I was at uni. That then made it easier when I became Birmingham Future Graduate Apprentice, because I was also encouraged to network then. That was a networking. So Birmingham Future was like a networking area for people within Birmingham, professionals within Birmingham. And that because I was selected as a 10th apprentice, and I think every apprentice every year had like a launch event. And it was just like this big thing, you know, you dress up and you'd have to do a speech. And
kind of encourages you to get out your comfort zone.
Comfort zone. And I didn't realise when I applied for it that these were all the things that I actually have to do. And so I was quite fortunate that I was kind of thrown into the deep end and I managed to swim. But
That's the best way sometimes. It's just being like, right, off you go, see how well you do.
With a lot of my junior colleagues, I've really, especially after COVID, it's quite hard. And I was like, you know, you guys need to be getting to these events. You need to start meeting your peers, and you need to start doing something just a bit extra outside. And there's so many things you can do. So one of the things I know is that RICS have matrix events, so for young professionals to, if you're a surveyor, young surveying professionals to meet each other. And I know Young Leaders Club exists now, so that's another opportunity. And you've got some great businesses behind this, really giving it backing and support. So attend the events, because that then might lead for you to make connections on LinkedIn and then go to other events. And then being part of like subscribing to the forum of the built environment for us, for example, but there might be other things. Subscribing to these places and making sure you stay on mail lists, so then when you do know that there is an opportunity to go network, you actually can.
Right, so for our audience who are listening, who might be struggling to find their niche or their passion, what steps would you advise that they can take to explore different career paths?
So I would say that, oh gosh, that is a hard one actually. Right, so you attend careers events. I think they're really good, and ask questions, like be prepared. Don't just go and take a booklet or a pen and stuff. Just actually ask questions. Like, I think a lot of these people that go to careers fairs don't want to just be giving you a leaflet or a book. They actually want to talk about what they do. And so ask some questions. I think also ask family and talk to your family. I think so many of you don't actually talk to your family and see what their jobs involve, or beyond your mum and your dad. I mean, like, actually your aunts, your uncles, their friends. Understand what they do. I think that is the best kind of advice I could give anyone, because quite a lot of people that actually end up in surveying is because their dad's best friend does it, or something like that.
They're not really jobs that are promoted to you, though. They're not really jobs that are thrown around, really. Like when you're at school, you wouldn't know what a surveyor was. You wouldn't really know what a project manager was. You know what more of the blasé jobs are, you know, like a hairdresser, a doctor, you know, those types of things. So it's good, really, to probably go to the events, see what things are sort of there. And if you see a job role that you think, actually, what is that? It's better to probably go in, talk to them, because it might be something that you think, oh, actually, I could see myself in that. And I think trialling stuff out as well, as hard as what it is, you're not going to ever know what a project manager's role is unless you are a project manager. So it's hard to say, oh, I'm going to love that job. But I think throwing yourself into different opportunities where you have got the experience to do a bit of work, shadowing, or, might be unpaid for the time being, but at least you're having the opportunity to trial and test it before you throw yourself into a degree or whatever.
Yeah, so that's exactly that, yeah. So I would definitely say unpaid work experience is the only way forward, to be fair. I mean, I worked, when I was 16, 17, I literally spent my summers in a barrister's chambers just working unpaid. I did a lot of work unpaid, to be fair, but...
To be fair, that's quite young to do that, because I think you wouldn't really have that mindset at 16, 17. I know I didn't.
I know, but all I did was speak to, my nan's next door neighbour, who managed to get me into this really great firm, Chambers actually, and I spoke to her and I went in for 2 weeks and ended up spending the whole summer there, and that just put me a step ahead of
100%.
Other people. And I think that's really important, so definitely read up on stuff as well. So when you open that prospectus, if you're going to go to university, for example, actually take your time and read through the different things. If you don't understand, Google it, watch videos, go on LinkedIn, see if there's anyone, send some cold messages. There's nothing, you're not going to lose anything. Nobody's going to think any less of you just because you want to know. If anything, people think more of you for asking questions. So yeah, I think that's the only other thing I can say. And then I think, if you take your qualities, so you sit down and you say you're at school or you're 18 or whatever, and you just think, right, I'm really good at exams, I'm really good at coursework. I'm not that good at any of those, but I'm really practical. I enjoy sport. So what is it that's going to... I don't like having the same day repeated twice. Or are you somebody who likes repetitive actions, as in you like your routine and everything to be the same? If you can try and work out what that is, then you know yourself then, and you know what kind of job would suit you. And I chose project management because the processes, as in what I need to do, is the same. But every single project is unique, so I won't get bored, and I'm always learning something. And so that was my motivation for doing it. But yeah,
I think everyone's different, and everyone needs to find their own special niches of what they enjoy doing, because at the same time, you don't want to be bored. No one wants to be bored. No one wants to be doing the same thing over and over again. So it's insightful, really, to find out that the different roles it does involve, and how, every project is different. And yes, the same steps are the same. And if you are that type of person, then that might be something to look into if young leaders are listening and thinking, actually, what is a project manager? I don't know. I've never heard of it. I didn't know that it was in different sections. I didn't know it was just not in construction, and it was down this route and this route. So it's good. It's insightful to learn about it and to share. But finally, looking back at your journey, what's one piece of advice you wish you had received when you were at the beginning of your career?
I wish I was told, don't be afraid to try something and fail. I think that's always the biggest obstacle for every young person. I'm afraid to do that because what if? I think that regret will always live with you. And if you do it and it doesn't work out, then at least you can say, well, at least I tried. I gave it my best shot. So give it your best shot. And I know you said one piece, but I do have a second piece. Always ask questions. And the reason is because your employer will thank you for asking questions and not making a mistake. Or trying to understand it before you do something. Then thinking you can do it and then doing something that kind of messes it up. At least if you've asked the right questions, and if anything goes wrong, then you can be like, well, I did ask the right questions. You kind of cover yourself, but you also then, everyone has confidence that, you know what, you're a trustworthy individual. We can trust you to understand where your limitations are, but where you're also able to go out your comfort zone and do something well. So definitely think those are the greatest pieces of advice I can give anyone.
I think especially on the failing point, I think in today's day and age, we're so consumed by social media. It's at our fingertips whenever we want it. no one shares that side of their stories. You don't go on social media, you don't go on Instagram and you're faced with all failure stories. It's people showing the best aspects of their life, when really they've probably had to do a lot of failure to get where they are. And sometimes it's not always what it looks like anyway. It's just a snippet of somebody's life. So I think to share that point of failing and not being scared to dive into something new, and if it doesn't go to plan, that is so fine, because if you keep going at something, you're not always going to fail at everything. You get better and better and better, and then you finally end up where you're meant to be.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely, like, when you're young, it's your time to learn. And I think we always think, well, we had to have A's at school to do well, or, you know, the best grades at school to do well. And I think that's what our education doesn't teach us.
Yeah.
Or on sports day, you had to be first, second or third to mean anything.
Yeah.
But that's
it's
not
drilled
the case.
into you.
Yeah, it's just drilled into you. You always feel like you have to win, But that's not always the case.
And life doesn't work like that.
No.
You know, you've got to go into new things and not know. And I think lots of people don't like going into new environments and don't like trying new jobs because, but I don't know. Nobody goes into it knowing. You know, you've got to go through it and learn, and you've got to be willing to ask the questions because, that's showing an eagerness to learn anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is the key thing. And I think you just need to, as I said, to stick it out, and whatever happens, it happens. It's always, if, as I say, if one door closes, another opens, or if it wasn't meant to be, then it wasn't meant to be. I think I really wish someone told me that when I was younger.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being a guest today on the Young Leaders podcast. You've shared so many good tips and advice. And if I was listening, not knowing what type of career to go into, I was thinking a little bit about project management or construction, I think it's been a really good conversation. So,
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. And join us next week with another episode on the Young Leaders Club podcast.